In the battle of the two best welterweights of their generation, Terence Crawford made it clear that he stands alone at the top. It was shocking to see how Errol Spence Jr. couldn't compete with the new undisputed champion's skill and power. But Bud wasn't in it for the belts.
This meant everything to me. I wanted to give honor to God for blessing me to be here, to be able to perform in front of each and every one of y'all. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to thank Errol Spence and his team for me and him coming together and getting this fight underway.
It was 5 years in the making. Crawford was the former undisputed four-belt lightweight champion who had claimed the WBO welterweight title. If he beat Spence, he was going to be crowned the first two-weight four-belt champion in men's history, and he was confident.
Everything about Terence Crawford is better than Errol Spence Jr. When you look at everything that I do in the ring, is better than Errol Spence Jr. So, you know what I mean, come fight night, I'll be proving each and every one of the doubters wrong once again that Terence Crawford is the best fighter in the world today. And that's just what it is.
Spence was the undefeated champion who had unified 3 of the 4 belts, one at a time, beating champion after champion. Bud had finished his last 10 opponents, but Spence had never touched the canvas. He'd barely even lost a round.
I always tell everybody, I don't go in there looking for the knockout. I go looking for the win. But if he get out of line, he's gonna be the next one down.
I've been getting that line my whole life, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm about to take my belt off him.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Errol?
And you don't need more than the belt. I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't one of your kids.
I'm gonna treat you.
You don't need more than the belt. I ain't one of your kids.
I'm gonna treat you like one.
Yeah, all right, we gonna see.
All right, we definitely gonna see.
We definitely gonna see.
What was indisputable was that this was the best versus the best. It was about plucked straight from the glory days of boxing, and everybody knew it.
There's some legendary shit. This is gonna be iconic shit. I guarantee y'all gonna wanna tune into this fight. Y'all gonna wanna buy this fight. This is gonna be your money's worth. This is gonna be something people gonna talk about this fight 30, 40 years from now when they talk about legendary fights, like they talk about Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and Marvin Hagler, and those Four Kings era, and all those tough fights back then. They're gonna talk about this fight the same way, and it's gonna be somebody in USA boxing as an amateur 20 years from now watching us fight, watching our fight on YouTube, whatever platforms they got, and saying, man, I want to be in an Errol Spence and Terence Crawford type fight. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. I guarantee you it's going to be nothing but fireworks from start to finish.
It was a showcase bout, all right, but for the first time in his pro career, it rarely went his way. The night was Bud's. Just ask Eminem, who walked Crawford to the ring.
How did you pull off getting Eminem to walk you out tonight?
I don't know. It was just, I throw a rock in a haystack and he replied, and you know, I told him to pull up and he was like, I'm there. You're one of my favorite fighters. And you know, that showed, you know, a lot of support for me, and that showed what level I'm at in the boxing world.
Crawford proved that he's on a higher level than just about everyone. Spence might have taken the first round, but after that, it was all Bud. Spence went down in round 2 and twice in round 7, before having the fight waved off in the 9th to prevent him from taking more damage. It was astonishing.
The first round, I felt as if I had the speed and power. I felt, you know, his power, and I felt as if I was the stronger fighter. And yeah, that's pretty much was it.
As has become customary, both champions had a rematch clause in the contract, but this one had a catch. The winner gets to decide what weight their second clash will be at, which means it may not be at welterweight. Spence has struggled with the weight cut for years, and many have speculated that this was partly to blame for his poor performance. But Bud isn't sure he wants it at welterweight either.
Definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, you know, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up in weight and challenging Charlo. So 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
If Crawford wants to go up to junior middle or even middleweight, right now you'd have to consider him the favorite for a belt against Jermell or Jermall Charlo, maybe at once. But for now, this is Bud's time. And at long last, he and Spence gave the boxing fans exactly what they needed.
This is a fight that everybody wanted to see. The whole world was talking about it, and we put on a great show.
And on the undercard, Alex Santiago finally picked up his first world title. The 27-year-old outpointed the 40-year-old future Hall of Famer Nonito Donaire for the vacant WBC bantamweight strap. In other championship results, Superbad Sanisa Estrada retained her WBA and WBC minimum weight belts with a unanimous decision victory over Leonela Utica. In other news, Devin Haney has announced that he'll be moving up to junior welterweight for his next fight, but he has a plan to not vacate any of his 4 lightweight titles in the process. I'm undisputed champion at lightweight. I'm able to go up and fight for a new belt at junior welterweight, and hopefully I've got one lined up. And I'm able to keep my belts at lightweight as well, said Haney. Except that's not how it works, usually. The major sanctioning bodies generally strip champions of belts when they win titles in a second division, because champions can't defend titles as often. If there's enough money involved, though, like when Floyd Mayweather wanted to fight for a second title, the sanctioning bodies have been known to make exceptions, so it is possible. That means the other fighters at lightweight like Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson, George Kambosos, and Vasily Lomachenko will just have to wait and see if the sanctioning bodies think Haney is worth the wait. And the unified light heavyweight champion Artur Beterbiev will not be defending his titles this August due to a bone infection in his jaw caused by some recent dental work. The WBC, IBF, and WBO champion was scheduled to defend his titles against the former super middleweight champion Callum Smith, whose only loss to date has been to Canelo Alvarez. Should Beterbiev have got the win, it was hoped that he'd then face Dimitri Bivol, who beat Canelo to retain the final belt in the division. A bout between Beterbiev and Bivol would have been for the undisputed title, but now that the 38-year-old's defense has likely been pushed back to 2024, he may have missed his window.
Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want more fight sports in your life, just hit the subscribe button.